Hello and welcome to the WOW, Connecting and Empowering Women Through Sports, brought to you by our partners, Fresh Fine Wine. I'm Jade Kenny, and joining me, as always, are my lovely co-hosts, Stephanie Jokian and Janine Samuels. Today, we're in our Salute to Service Washington shirts in honor of our military servicemen and women. Yeah, check out if you're on YouTube. Make sure you go to YouTube to see them. Coming up in segment 2, we have our home field segment with Brandie Thomas, the wife of Washington's tight end, Logan Thomas. She is a former college athlete, mom of 5, and they take care of 19 animals. I say it again, 19 animals. And if that doesn't sound like enough to manage during quarantine, Brandie and Logan have decided to take on a business endeavor. Stay tuned to find out what that business is and how Brandie handles it all. It may not be a victory show here for the Washington football team, but we need to take a second and celebrate and acknowledge what a huge victory for women everywhere, regardless of your political party. We have elected not only the first female, but the first minority vice president. Congrats to Kamala Harris, vice president-elect. We will discuss that monumental moment for women more in overtime, but we just got to kick the show off today with that.
Yes. Congrats.
All right, now on to some more somber news. The Washington football team came out of a bye week. We were hoping they were going to take control of the NFC East with a rematch against the Giants. Unfortunately, with 5 turnovers, it's just not going to happen. They fell short, 23-20. Let's go ahead and get into it. What was the woe of the game?
Well, you mentioned it, the turnover. So that was my biggest woe. We had a total of 5, like you said, 2 fumbles and 3 interceptions, and we're just not going to be able to win games that way. So we've got to figure out how to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, and our injuries, right? Kyle Allen getting injured, now undergoing surgery. It's hard when you lose your players.
Let's switch gears. What was our wows?
Mine was the locker room and whatever Rivera said to them, because well, they came out and scored right away and played hard those next 2 quarters. We didn't win, but I need him to talk to them. They need little mics constantly with him.
Yeah. Well, my personal wow was actually being there. So I was one of the lucky fans to see everything in action, but unfortunately it was like one letdown after another. But I would have to say I am excited and very optimistic about our young team. You know, we have about 25 players that are either in their first, second, or third year of professional play. And even though we're not getting the wins, we do have small wins within each game. So I do feel good about what's to come for the Burgundy and Gold. We just got to get it together. So we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. My wow is Dustin Hopkins. He struggled a little bit this season trying to find his groove, and he had 2 field goals for over 40 yards. And I think he needed that confidence, that booster in this game, that way we can trust him longer down the stretch of the second half of the season to come in and make those big plays. Okay, we got to switch gears. We have a big game coming up against Detroit Lions, an AP reunion. What do we got to do?
I would say for us, you know, the Lions QB, Matthew Stafford, he's one of their best assets. And so if we can limit his passing and keep the pressure on him, we have a chance. But as you mentioned, there's AP coming back. Is he going to want revenge? Are we going to let him run down the middle like we did last week, you know, with the Giants? That's not a good thing, because he will get those yards. And if he's angry, we need to watch out.
Yeah, and he is going to want revenge. Let's just be real about this. I would want revenge. He's going to want revenge. And like you said, against the Giants, we literally we kept the midfield wide open. We had 166. They had 166 rushing yards against us. And if we're playing against AP, our defense literally just has to step up, and the defense has to show up. We did have, obviously, you know, some good plays by defense, but just not like we need, you know, to go against the Lions and beat them. And we can beat them because their record isn't that great. They're only 3-5.
But and AP has insight. He's been here. He's worked a little bit with Rivera, so that's a little bit scary too. That insight plus that revenge will be tough.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be devil's advocate and positive Polly. I do think having a week with Alex Smith, getting the starting reps, is going to help us. He's going to come out a little bit more confident. I'm hoping he's gotten the jitters out of cringing every time someone almost tackles him. So I'm hoping, and Terry said it best, this guy's a pro. He trusts him in situations like this. So I think having a full week of practice with the starters is definitely going to help us and get more comfortable in the offense. And also, let's give us some credit. The Lions have 30th ranked defense. They struggle against the rush. This is our chance to run the ball. This is our chance to give that ball back to AG and to show that we are a young team, but we have the talent and we have all the goods to make this a winning team in the future years to come. As we mentioned here on the WOW, we like to give you access to the Washington football team. If you have a question for a Washington football player, make sure you are following @WOW Washington on social media to find out how you can ask a player a question and have it answered right here on the WOW. This week, we had WOW member Melissa ask Ronald Darby a question. Check it out.
Hey there, Ronald Darby. This is WOW member Melissa in Arlington. And I want to know, what do you consider a fun date?
Netflix it. Sorry, I'm just playing. I'm going to take on, that's a good question. Well, my girl, if it's a little special night, Dale Frisco's out DC. I think it's in Northwest. Get a little, little steak with a little crab on the top, little steak sauce on the side. Back when the movies was open, I do the movies too, but the movies haven't been open. So that's pretty much it. It ain't that much to do.
Has your business been affected by COVID-19? Have you considered reducing or moving your office space? Then it's time to call Victory Van. We provide the best service and price with flexible options for your company's moving and storage needs. Visit victoryvan.com to get your free moving and storage quote today. For corporate storage and moving, it's always the right move to choose Victory Van. That's victoryvan.com, Victory Van Corporation, delivering excellence for 75 years and proud partner of the Washington football team.
Finch Services Incorporated, recognized in its industry as a world-class organization, is the exclusive supplier of John Deere golf and sports turf maintenance equipment for the Mid-Atlantic region. In business since 1945, Finch helps golf course and sports turf managers maintain some of the most exclusive playing surfaces in the region. Experience the Finch advantage for yourself. Contact one of our golf and sports turf sales specialists to see how we can help you maintain your field of dreams. Go to finchturf.com for more information.
At RTS, game day strategy doesn't stop when the whistle blows. RTS delivers smarter, more responsible waste and recycling services. As an official partner of the Washington football team, RTS is connecting the team and FedEx Field with sustainable solutions to care for the community and the environment. RTS, a better waste company. Find out more at rts.com.
Welcome to the WOW HOMEFIELD, brought to you by Fresh Fine Wine. Sharing a glass with us today is Brandie Thomas, the wife of Washington tight end Logan Thomas. Brandie is a former Division I athlete herself. She played volleyball at Ohio State and San Diego University, as well as trained with an Olympic team. She is passionate about photography, interior design, and decorating, which has led her to her most recent project. Her and Logan are currently in the process of building a wedding venue in Virginia, where they live during the off season and where Logan grew up. The venue will provide everything a couple will need at a lower price than usual as their way of giving back to the community. She is a mother of 5 boys ranging from ages 1 to 12, and if her hands aren't already full, she raises 19 animals. Her family has moved all over the country while Logan has played for different teams in the league, but they could not be happier to call Washington home, and neither could we, as it's 3 hours away from their actual home. Brandie, welcome to the WOW.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm fellow boy mom here, but not as many.
It still counts though. It still counts.
It does. It's still a lot of work.
We're gonna get right into that. How do you do it all? I mean, that's a lot to take on. That is a full house, especially during quarantine. How do you handle all that?
Right. Quarantine has definitely made things a little different. We were used to like our normal season routine, and it can be crazy, moving around with your children. And we had kind of like gotten into an awesome rhythm and like knew how much stuff to bring and pack for season, knew how much stuff to get home to last us. And then quarantine gets thrown in, and our kids are all doing virtual learning right now. And we're all just kind of stuck in the home. And so it can be trying sometimes, that's 5 boys. And luckily my sister, she just came in town. She was out of a job because of quarantine, and she was a teacher. And so we're like, well, come be their tutor. Help me out a little bit. And it made life 100 times easier. So her being here has been wonderful.
Yeah, well, you know what they say, it takes a village. And so it's amazing that you have that support system to help out, because I've just heard stories from mom talking to Stephanie a lot, my sisters. It's definitely a challenge. And then on top of having to be a teacher and a mom, you have 19 animals. Can you just share a little bit about that?
So we love animals, our whole family. And for all of our boys do. And it started with just, I think our first would have been a dog. We have 2 dogs, 2 cats, a snake, a bearded dragon, a bunny, 6 chickens, 3 frogs, 2 horses. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. And all of those are with us right now, except the 2 horses. This is the only thing that's not here. They're at our other back home where we live during off season in Virginia. But we'll love animals so much that once we even move onto our property, we have 50 acres. I'm already positive we're going to grow that number substantially.
That is so cool. So can you talk about the vision behind the wedding venue and, you know, how you're mixing being an entrepreneur in the middle of all of this as well? I think it's so cool.
That has been trying for sure, just because COVID again. A lot of my meetings are virtual, but years ago, it was probably 4 years ago, we finally decided, like, what's going to be our after football plan? Because we're both so passionate about that. And Logan is passionate about sharing that with guys on the team. Like, you know, you can't just be done with football. You should set something up so that you don't panic when you leave. The wedding venue had come into my mind. And so we were like set on it. We both talked about it. And then in our heads, it worked out perfectly. But the hardest part was finding the land. We searched for probably 3 years until we found the exact land we needed. We knew we wanted a beautiful view. And our land ended up being, it's on 50 acres and you can see end to end of the entire mountain range in Virginia where we live. It's a beautiful, and the crazy part is when we went to find it, someone sent us out to go look at a 15-acre property, and we're like, oh, that's too small, but we'll go look because they said it was a pretty area. So we go check it out, and we're like, oh no, it's in a neighborhood, and we turn out, and I'm like, let's go right. It's so pretty over there. Like, look how beautiful. So we turn right, and we're driving, and I look over, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my dream property right there. Like, it is absolutely stunning. And we go around the bend, and there's a sign out in front of the house that says for sale. And we're like, no way. We like freaked out, and I was like, pull the car over. And I called right away, but it was for 100 acres. And we knew we didn't want that much. And part of the property had a house. So I'm like, I'm going to call right now, sitting in front of the driveway, and say, would you guys consider splitting this in half? We would love to have without the house on it. And so I call, he answers. He's like, how did you guys even see that? That's for sale. And we're like, oh, the sign. He's like, we actually just put that there today. And it hasn't even been listed online. And he goes, but there's only one thing. Someone has already bought half of it with the house. The only half that's available is the house without the house.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, we got chills. It was crazy.
It just gave me chills.
Yeah.
That was definitely meant to be. That
Right.
is amazing. That's a wonderful story to go with such an amazing venture that you all are going on. It's so cool.
we just feel like it was meant to be. Like,
Do you share that on the wedding venue site? Because you know you want your wedding to have so much meaning, and I just feel
Right.
like you know you're coming to the right place. Like karma.
oh yes,
is
that's
there.
definitely gonna be like a main part of our everything that we put on there. And it's beautiful though, and we're to the point of it's fully designed and ready. It's just we're going through all the permits. There's so many things that you would never know that you have to check out with all these people to make sure this is okay, your driveway's in the right spot, this is okay. And then that's like 4 months of permitting. So we should be ready to break ground hopefully before this year is over. And then for spring and summer, we'll be open for weddings already. So
That's so cool.
I can't wait to follow all along on this.
Hey, you guys can get married there.
She said it to me yesterday, and I was like, oh, well, in a couple of years, I might be one of your first brides coming down there.
so beautiful. I'll have to send you photos. It's like looks like nothing in Virginia. It's very, very modern. A lot of it was inspired by like Greece decor. Like all of my stuff is stucco and concrete, and we've got like glass hallways. The whole entire back of our building is glass. We've got vines hanging in there, trees inside, going through stairs, like really cool stuff. Yeah. And then it's also going to be outside of the wedding venue. It's also going to be a winery where people can come in and do wine tastings and stuff.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
ready.
great. So I obviously here on the WOW, we have a ton of female listeners that come to the WOW for advice, for a community, a tribe, for a place to kind of grow from each other and find strength.
Right.
You have such a beautiful story and a very colorful background of everything that you're into, and just researching things that you and Logan have been through. I saw that you unfortunately you've grieved the loss of a child. And I think that's something that our listeners, someone might need to hear or could relate to. If you feel comfortable, can you share with us how you found strength in such a tragic time, and just advice for mothers that might be going through something similar?
Yeah. It was definitely the hardest thing that we have ever gone through as a family in a whole. And just in that moment, you just are just trying to go through your brain and like, why us? Why is this happening? And just trying to, what helped us was the amount of people who reached out to us was amazing. I've never received that many messages, DMs, messages on Facebook, girls reaching out from all over. They've had it happen to them, and it makes you feel like, okay, I'm not alone in that instance. So that does make you feel better. But the number one thing I would say that helped us was, after that happened, we were scared to get pregnant again. I was scared to be pregnant. I was scared to deliver, everything. So that whole pregnancy, I was nervous. But then the second that we had the baby after we had lost her, it's like, and I know it's a horrible thing that we lost her, but in that moment, it's like everything made sense, because she was meant to be here. Like every other week, we would look at each other and be like we just know why, like it happened, like, because we never would have had Devin, and he is just, oh my gosh, the light of our family. He is. And so you have to tell yourself, at that moment, it might not make sense, but just understand that there's something else in the works, for your life. And then in a couple years, all of it will just come together and make sense. And it really will be, we're still sad about it, but you have a feeling of peace of just knowing that there was a reason, and you will be okay, and your family will be okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, I think that sometimes when you are going through something, you don't remember that there's a reason behind everything, and there's sunshine at the end of the tunnel, but you have to keep moving that way in order to get to that sunshine. So
you're right. In that moment, in the very beginning, especially, it is hard to make yourself remember, like, there's a reason for this. There's a reason, because you're just still in that grieving state, but it comes, the reason comes.
Yeah. And then, so talk a little bit, because it seems like obviously that you all are a very close-knit family. You and Logan seem to do a lot together. You're planning this new venture together. What, if you can share, because we always love the inside, what has been the most challenging part of being married to him, an NFL player? And then what has been the most rewarding, other than your children, of course, because we know that that's probably top on your list.
Of course. Challenging wouldn't even be him. It's just his job. A lot of people think football's done. Well, first of all, they don't even know what the guy's work week is like and how many hours they're gone during the day, and that they don't get a day off during the week. Even on a Tuesday, he's in there doing rehab. And then they think when off season hits that, people are taking vacations and doing all this fun stuff. And I'm like, no. Like, he gets home, he takes like the smallest amount of time off. Then he's back to full-time training every day. And then when April hits, they are gone. They're back to training camp. And I don't think people understand that. That's my hardest time of our entire year, would be April to June, the mid-June, where they're at training camp, and we don't go with them. We stay home. So I'm just a stay-at-home mom with 5 kids, and that's fun. Just trying. But that's definitely the toughest part. The most rewarding, I would say, is just, we have had the opportunity to make so many amazing memories with our families traveling. Like, I know if he didn't have this job, we would not have lived in all these different states. And my kids have swam with manatees. They've rode an elephant in the water. They've done indoor skydiving. They could go on and on and on. And they have just seen so many cool things in the world. And me and Logan are like, do you understand? Like, you're doing all this cool stuff, and you guys are all under 12. Like, they just don't even grasp yet just the cool life they've lived. And so it just makes me happy that we have all these family memories to look back on and share someday, like with their grandchildren, our grandchildren, and their kids.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that up, because people, even like, as we, 2 of us professional dancers, and Stephanie, our coach, who was also a professional dancer, they don't realize the hard work behind the pom-poms, just like the average person doesn't realize all of the hard work year round behind the football. So I'm really glad that you shared that.
Definitely. So we are going to be asking our guests 2 questions from every show from now on. So one of these is going to be, what would you say to your younger self if you had the chance?
My younger self would just be to slow down and just live in the moment of every day. It's so easy, especially now, even for people who are the age I was when I was younger, to get so wrapped up in social media and comparing your life to this life and wanting to be like this person. And I would just say, don't want to be like anybody. Be who you are, and life is so much happier and smoother that way. And be around the people you love and the friends you love, and your life will be 100 times happier that way. I mean, God made every single person, so you are who you are for a reason. You don't need to be like anybody else.
Absolutely. Look, writing all this down.
I
Also, we want to ask, what are your daily rituals that keep you motivated? I mean, obviously you have a lot going on in your household every day. What do you do every day that's for you or gets you set up for the day?
I have to wake up and have a coffee. It's like I'm a zombie walking right to the coffee machine. It's like just straight to it, out of the bed. I will say in our house, what keeps us going is we don't have too crazy of a routine. So that works for us with 5 boys, where we have time set up where they're doing like their virtual lessons. Like 2 of mine right now are on a virtual class downstairs. But other than that, I think in big families, my thing to tell them is have less of a routine, because then it puts less stress on your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So get the things done you need to get done during the day, but don't put too much weight on your own shoulders. Let yourself be like, okay, I can get these couple things done today, but then if you try to add on 10 more, you're just going to be swamped and then overwhelmed for the day. So we're more of a go with the flow, just kind of go with the flow kind of day. That's what works in our house.
That really resonates with me with my 2 boys. I do sometimes feel like I overschedule us, and it puts a lot on me we got to go here. We have basketball, we have soccer, so thank you. I actually am going to let that.
We've tried it. It felt that way. We've tried, I was a younger mom too, people be like, do this schedule. And then it got to the point where I'm like you just feel overwhelmed, like this time. And then now over the years, I've just realized if you have a less of a routine, everything it goes a little smoother. You'll still get the stuff done, but you don't have all that weight on your shoulders all the time.
Yeah, and that advice holds true for people without kids too, right? Because just listening to you, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is, because normally I have like this laundry list of to-dos, and I've been trying to say, okay, I'm just going to focus on trying to get 3 things done. And sometimes even just those 3 things, you feel overwhelmed with the 3. So I love that. I absolutely love that advice. I'm going to see if I can maybe start that tomorrow. Not today, but maybe tomorrow.
Before we let you go, Brandie, I got to ask one inside Washington football question. Maybe you can give us a little behind the scenes.
Okay.
Obviously, there's been a lot going on at the quarterback position. Logan is next in line after Haskins to come in. Does he say at home that he feels ready? Has that conversation come up?
It has come up. So to preface that, this is so crazy. Since Logan has become a tight end, on every team that we've been on, they have gone through 3 quarterbacks, and Logan's the next one up as quarterback.
Wow.
Which is so bizarre because it does not commonly happen on a team. And it has gotten down to Logan the last 3 teams he's been on, and now here. And we're like, how does this keep happening? And it keeps getting down to the point where you might actually have to go on the field.
Your time to come.
He would be 100% ready. I mean, he'll even talk about it now. And the best thing is he is so knowledgeable, was as a quarterback and now as a tight end, that he knows the offense so well that he would have no problem mentally at all. And then even going out in the football, he's like, I will go out and throw it. He's like, and I know I'll do great. And I'm like, well, I like the confidence. It makes me, it makes me confident in him. So I know if he had to go out there, I think he'd go win the game.
All right.
That's what I wanted to hear today. That's good. Give all the Washington football fans some confidence looking at the stretch ahead. Well, Brandie, it has been so great to have you on here. Before we let you go, can you let our listeners know where they can find you? I know that I definitely follow your TikTok account. I love watching.
Oh yes, TikTok, Instagram. I don't even know my Instagram name. It is.
We'll tag you when we post the episode. So we'll see it.
Maybe if I can find myself. I'm not really good at. Okay, there we go. Mrs. Thomas 5. It was pretty easy, and I didn't even know it.
You have a lot going on. It's okay. You need to know your Instagram. Well, thank you so much. We're going to do a cheers to you from Fresh Fine Wine for having you on Home Field.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers, ladies.
Thank you.
A new decade demands a new kind of wine as consumers continue to embrace healthier lifestyles with beverages that taste great and keep in line with their dietary preferences, and wine is no exception. Fresh Fine Wine thoughtfully crafts great tasting premium wines that are low calorie, low carb, low sugar, keto, vegan friendly, and gluten free. Fresh Fine Wines pairs perfectly with your active lifestyle without sacrificing on taste. Available in select stores in DC and Maryland. Find adventure in an all-wheel drive Honda SUV now on clearance, like the turbocharged all-wheel drive CRV, the versatile all-wheel drive HRV, or the adventure-ready Passport and Pilot, both equipped with 3 different driving modes. Take back the driver's seat and find adventure with a rugged Honda SUV on clearance. When it comes to the best value, Honda leaves the others in the dust. See your local Honda dealer and start your adventure today.
Couchgating is the new tailgating presented by DC Lottery. Enter to win a chance at a Washington football team DC Lottery fan pack. Celebrate your couchgating by sharing a photo using the hashtag CouchgatingDCL. To have your couchgating photo featured on the Couchgating Wall of Fame, please post your photos on social media using the tags Washington NFL, DC Lottery, and the hashtag CouchgatingDCL for consideration. Please note that not all photos will be accommodated on the Couchgating Wall of Fame, and all Couchgating photos are posted at the sole discretion of the Washington football team.
We are heading into Wow Overtime. And speaking of a wow woman, that interview with Brandie was amazing. When she sent me her bio, I was just like trying to combine it all together. She just has so much on her shoulders. And we talked about, I love what she said about not having routine and about just not putting that pressure on her and just figuring out what works best for her. And she's just such a strong, powerful woman. And it transitions beautifully into what we want to talk about quickly here in Overtime is just a celebration of strong women who do all things and can do all things and lead by example. And that is exactly what has happened here for our country. We have the first female and the first minority vice president-elect, Kamala Harris. It is such a remarkable time in history. And for someone who has a younger sister of color, just the opportunity to show her that you can be anything you want to be, no matter what, we can actually say that now. And I think we say it all the time here, especially Washington football team. It's so great to be the first, but it's more important to not be the last. And that is something that we say in this new culture and new era. And that's something that you're seeing in the country too.
I think, Janine, the post you put up about us being united is the message, right? Kamala has a mixed ethnicity. She has a mixed religious background. Those are the ingredients to what we need. We are a mixed country. The country is all of ours, as she said. So your post was great. I don't know if you want to talk about it at all, but this is the new world. Everyone needs to get with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I posted the, we are united image because I feel like that's the direction that we need to go. That's the direction that we have to go as a country. And I think it's really neat, obviously, that she is a female. She is of mixed race, which is near and dear to my heart as well. But also it was just interesting because another super small subset of Americans is within the sorority community. So she is an Alpha Kappa, she's in Alpha Kappa Alpha, which is the same sorority as I am. And what was interesting is just seeing all of the sororities in support of her, regardless of the fact, the Delta's like, no, she's an AKA, I'm not voting for her. It wasn't like that at all. So not only is it bringing like the smaller pockets together and uniting us, but it's uniting all women together. It's uniting women and men. And she said it herself. She's the first, but she's not going to be the last. And women and young girls are going to be able to look to her and say, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. And that is what is so exciting about this time right now. So congratulations to her and for everyone that's to come after her.
Yeah, like you said, she's not the last. So that doesn't mean now we all sit back and go, oh my God, you're great, you're wonderful. No, we all need to work together. Now we need these next women in, right? So the work is not done.
Yeah, the work is definitely not done. And speaking of work, Stephanie, what events do we have coming up for the WOW? I love my little segues.
Segue. So for Salute, WOW and Salute are working together. November 17th, we're having a virtual event. It's a yoga, charity yoga, and it's spelled chair because it's yoga in a chair. So we're talking about how you're kind of stuck at home with COVID. You need some breaks during the day from your computer, for your kids, for you. So it's charity yoga. We're going to have Mike Nelms, Doc Walker involved, First Ladies of Football. This is all to support Blue Star families. And Sweat and Glow Yoga is going to be facilitating the event. So WOW members, you're getting your newsletter soon. So check it and register. And then we do have,
I'll be there.
I know you'll be there. And we do have a wellness for the holidays coming up, tentatively December 5th. So save the date on your calendar. You ladies will be involved as well. So more to come, but it's just kind of, sometimes the holidays aren't easy for all of us. And so how can you stay well mentally, physically, all of that.
Awesome. That was work with like a work, not speaking of work. That's going to do it for us here on the WOW. Make sure you check out WOW Washington on social media as well as YouTube to stay up to date with the WOW show and everything that WOW Washington is doing. Thank you to our partner, Fresh Fine Wine. Till next time. See ya.
Bye.
For more than 100 years, Chesapeake Employers Insurance has been helping Maryland businesses keep their workers safe. With competitive pricing and an AM Best A- financial strength rating, it's no surprise that Chesapeake Employers is Maryland's largest writer of workers' comp insurance.
At the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your agent or visit CEIWC.com.
Locally owned Novec is energizing the community in powerful ways. From sponsoring meals for first responders and medical professionals to donating generously to area food banks, Novec knows we're in this together. Novec and customers are funding crisis energy assistance by having their bills rounded up each month. Novec and employees are supporting local charities through Novec Helps. That's the power of working together. That's Novec.
And now, time for another Honda clearance highlight. Jed was in mid-season form when his car went into early retirement. Looking to upgrade his roster to all-wheel drive, Jed went down to his local Honda dealer and scouted the CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and more. In the end, Jed saved his season by getting an HR-V with collapsible magic seats on clearance. Savvy stuff, Jed. Very savvy stuff.
Save your season with a clearance deal on an all-wheel drive Honda. See your local Honda dealer today.